everyone. This is Kirsho here, and I am very annoyed right now. I have just got done re-recording part 4. Well, I just got done recording part 4 and trying to upload it. But I got this upload fail, so I kept trying to re-upload it and doing all that. I tried doing it through my editing app, but that won't work. So I'm going to try and redo this and cut it down as much as possible. Now, I said this in the previous recording of this one, but Deku, he is essentially able to. He got a boost from being exposed to his mother's hakai energy. Now, this happened to Inko whenever she was in UA, but it wasn't on the scale that Deku had. She just got a normal. She just got like a normal, probably 2 to 3 times stronger boost. But she was already very strong, so this was actually quite a lot for her. But Deku, he actually did a. He went from being around Inko's level at the beginning of high school, well, around her time of being when she first started being a pro hero. But since he's been training with her and actually getting more control over his quirk his whole entire life, he got a 5 times boost to 6 times boost. So he's actually quite stronger than her. Now, this boost, it will go away after a while, but it's like a potion effect. You'll essentially be. It's like if you had 20 perk points, you could spend them all. But you can, if you didn't like them, you can do something to redistribute them. And yeah. But Deku, he essentially has a potion effect on him that makes him stronger. After a while, this potion effect will go away, but he'll still actually be stronger than what he was before. That's the difference. So now then, after this, I'm going to have to see if this upload records, or if this upload fails, because that actually made me very mad. I liked the way that one turned out. Anyway, cut to the bus. Sue is asking Deku about his quirk and how it's similar to his mom's, but he's seen her use fire. She's seen him use fire. Deku would state that that's correct, that his dad's quirk is a fire-breathing quirk. It's kind of similar to Endeavor's, but he can only breathe fire. And she would ask Deku, like, why can he firebend then? Deku would state that he's able to basically kind of move his quirk, his fire-breathing quirk, from not only his mouth, but his hands. His quirks kind of resonate with each other. They're trying to become one. Now, after he does say that, she's kind of interested to hear about this. Everyone is. Deku would say that the more he uses his hakai quirk, the stronger it becomes. But if he essentially has it on for too long, it can hurt his body to the point where he might destroy himself and disappear. But he also says that his fire quirk isn't like that at all. It contains hints of the hakai power, but not as much. Now, what he means by that is whenever he does shoot fire, he is essentially, you can see like an outline. The very tips of the fire are outlined purple. And when they're outlined like this, people can actually see it kind of. But it's hard because you have to Deku has to crank up the heat more to see the outline. Now, cut to 13, giving the explanation that quirks are dangerous, and just like her quirk, she can destroy. She can basically, if she wanted to, destroy a lot of things. And just like the number one hero, she would. Brain. The number one hero with her quirk, she uses it for good, but it can easily be used for evil. And that's the difference between her and a villain. She tries to be her best self. While others, kind of like Endeavor, he used to be like that. Now, people would, well, actually, that one guy would have asked, not Deku, that air guy, he would have asked Deku or Todoroki about Endeavor. Todoroki would say that, oh yeah, he was kind of like that when I was younger, but ever since Inko became the number one hero and apparently back in their high school days, he actually has become a better man. But he's still somewhat like that. Because he sees it as a friendly rivalry, like how Goku would. That's weird picturing Endeavor actually smiling and giggling. Ugh, satanic images. Ugh. I really hope I don't get copyrighted or anything like that for that. Anyway, after that, 13 would then get shot in the arm with a spike. Now, Shigaraki and all the villains would actually come out from behind a lot of the buildings. And this is complete chaos because the villains were already here waiting for them. Now, there's more villains out here because this is insane. Not just that. The Nomu this time, it looks more like Doomsday. It has an adaptability quirk, healing quirks, a bone quirk, regeneration, super strength, shock absorption, and a whole gaggle of other abilities. Now, what I mean by adaptation is literally what it sounds like. If you kill it, if you stab it, it will become stab proof. As long as it's introduced to something over a long period of time, it will eventually adapt to counter that. And with a healing quirk, that makes it entirely faster. Deku would charge in trying to fight these villains and actually push Shigaraki's buttons to the point where he'd tell them to teleport them because he took out quite a few number of villains. Now, if I'm speaking fast, that is because I'm trying to cover everything and actually get it to where I can upload this video properly. So after that, let's see. Ochako is with Momo this time. Jiro is with Bakugo and crap. The emo daddy issues birds guy. Yeah, I said that. Anyway, I am very tired. I am very annoyed at that YouTube for having my upload fail, and it is very annoying. So yeah. After that, Deku would begin falling into the water, but he would actually welcome the fall because he does like testing how durable he is. He's like Deadpool, because Deadpool, if you literally were to have him sit on top of a building, he would bet you $5, if not $10, how big of a splat he could make if he were to jump off. You would say Deadpool no, and as he's falling, he would say Deadpool yes. Exactly. He's kind of got that personality where he's always ready to test how strong he is, or how durable he is. So after that, he would fall into the water and actually sink down to the bottom. And, uh, crap. Froggy, Sue Froppy would actually land on the boat with the big hands girl, uh, Kendo. Afterward, they'd be looking, saying, "Didn't someone else fall into the water?" Kendo saying she's pretty sure it was Midoriya. Froppy is asking what she means. She would walk over and see that there is literally an entire area of the water is turned purple. If not, it's turning black and is actually smoking. They would then hold on for dear life as the lake would begin turning into fog. Now, while all this fog is being produced, the wind guy is actually using it as cover to get Ida out of the building. What I mean by that is he would, in all the commotion with every villain doing all that, he would sweep up the fog. Well, he would sweep up the what the heck? I know its name, but I'm very tired. I'm very sick. I'm just trying to get this uploaded because I am on my day off. I have to work tomorrow and Friday. I want to cry, but I can't not do that because I'm going to be a responsible adult. Anyway, I'm joking a little bit. Alrighty. Nope. Gotcha. Anyway, Inko and All Might would eventually. No, wait, not that. Not that. Not yet. Afterward, Deku would walk to shore as those two would try and catch up to him. And they would ask, why did he do that? He would then tell them to look around a bit more, as every villain there is suffering from heat stroke and actually is having a hard time standing up. Some villains are suffering from heat stroke, but all of them are just having a hard time standing up. Let's just keep it at that. So then after that, they would be walking, and Kendo would ask Deku, since he's so powerful, why do you even need to build muscle? Why, your quirk is strong, right? Deku would state that that's true, but even then, he likes to build up muscle. It's fun. He likes to. The more muscle he has, the more durable he can become, and the more he can use his quirk. So he likes working out because he's been doing it since he was young. Him and Todoroki have been doing it a lot. Working out. Yes, not that. Not what you are all thinking. Shame on you. Anyway, after that, they would be walking and they'd finally get to where shore is. Shigaraki would see Deku's green hair and he would see Deku. Now, if you're wondering what his hero suit would actually be, I I will figure that out in the next what if. I think I may have said it, but if not, I am going to retcon it. Actually, I'll just retcon it anyway. I feel like he needs a proper hero suit, like a proper good one. Anyway, after that, I was at Shigaraki's attacking Deku because he sees green hair and the purple aura. And right as he started attacking, he would have realized that this isn't Inko, because as soon as he saw purple aura out of the corner of his eye, that's when he was attacking. But after that, Deku would. He would have tried grabbing uh, Kendo or Froppy, and whenever he did do that, Deku would have grabbed him by his wrist as soon as he tried grabbing Kendo. And as soon as he did that, he lit his hand on fire and actually held Shigaraki's wrist. Shigaraki's screaming, and he actually does try and kick Deku away by grabbing him with his other hand. But as soon as he does try doing this, because he would have probably gotten one of Deku's. Let's say he got one of Deku's. Deku's wearing wristbands, like weighted wristbands, so he would have gotten one of Deku's wristbands. And Deku would have pulled it off and actually seen that it was rusted. So he would try and avoid Shigaraki's hands. Now, after this, Shigaraki would. He would have been teleported away so he can put his hand out and told Kurogiri to make the Nomu attack Deku. Now that would happen, but this time the Nomu's quirks, I've already listed them. It would try and attack Deku. Deku would Deku would attack it. He would have broken its hands a couple times and actually gotten into a few brawls of strength trying to get it. He would have tried burning it. He would have tried doing all this, all that. And essentially, whenever they do get in a hand lock, like grip lock, Deku would have powered up his aura by throwing it all up around him and actually powering it up more and more and more. Now at this point, he almost reached his limit because he's probably at Inko's gotten the closest to purifying the hakai energy back to the god level. Well, somewhat around the god level, probably 10% of it. But Deku is still around 1%, but he's slowly catching up to the verge of 2. And the Nomu is on 3%. So Deku would then purify it more and more and more. And as he's doing this, it's going from a darker shade of purple to somewhat of a lighter shade. Now, as he's doing this, he is fighting the Nomu and he's actually hakaiing, using the energy and actually disintegrating a lot of parts of it. But the Nomu is adapting to some of this stuff is adapting, and the bones are growing back weird. Now, as soon as that happens, as soon as that happens, Deku would then grab the Nomu because he would still be in like a grip lock with his hands, but he's decaying. He's not decaying them. Bleh. Brain, you're going too fast. He would then begin using his aura to try and like not decay, destroy and disintegrate his hands. He would just be like forcing his aura on the Nomu, and Nomu is actually taking a lot of damage. Deku would eventually get it down to the point where it essentially looks like almost just a like really really thin to the point where it just looks. If you've ever seen SCP-9096, where he's all skin and bones, really, he would have gotten the Nomu down to that, but it still has all the heavy like the bone manipulation quirk on it, where it looks like Doomsday. All those parts are essentially weighing it down. Deku would have gone to walk away from it, but it would have regenerated some of its body and more and more and more of it. Now, whenever Deku did essentially try and walk away from it, someone would have screamed something. Someone would have screamed at Deku that it's still there, so Deku would have turned around and tried blasting it with fire. Now, after that, the Nomu would have gotten through the fire, and Deku would have gotten in another grip fight with it. Because he's just trying to hold it off at this point. He's just trying to buy time. He did not think it would be this hard. So now then, afterwards, Deku is going up. He's at probably 20 to 40% of his mom's power. No, he's at 30% of his mom's power. And what I mean by that is now he's at 30% of his mom's power, so he's actually on par with the Nomu and actually getting stronger. He's actually overpowering the Nomu at this point, blasting it, doing all this, doing all that. He's almost gone insane, essentially, because not only does it take a physical toll, it takes somewhat of a mental toll because of all the pain and what you're doing to your body. Now, whenever Deku does, because they're essentially going fist for fist and everyone's watching this, as Deku and the Nomu are essentially exchanging blows to the face over and over and over again. And some people are actually finding it very hard to watch, but some just cannot look away. Because they know this thing was brought in to kill Deku's mother. And Deku got angry at that, so he would have screamed at it hakai and just kept trying to blast it over and over and over again. But he would have taken out one of its arms. Let's say he took out one of its arms, but it's slowly trying to grow it back. Now, the hakai energy does make it, does like nearly stop anything from growing, but this thing's got so many quirks and adaptability that it would try and keep growing the arm. It would regrow the arm, but it would do it below the joint Deku blasted off. So now it just looks silly. But eventually Deku would have gotten into another grapple with it, and he's actually screaming at it so much, and he's essentially lighting its entire hands on fire. He's trying to blast it with fire, but because their hands are so close, it's just burning the Nomu's hands, and then he would scream at it. Whenever he does scream at it, he would actually light its face on fire. To the point where it's just skin and bone, and since it already has that chicken-like jaw, it just makes it look worse. Actually, no, it doesn't even have an upper skull. So it actually doesn't look that bad. Okay. But afterward, because let's say that this one, this Nomu actually does have the top of his skull. Never mind. Deku would have screamed at it and done all that. And it gets to the point where all you hear is hakai, and actually no, you don't hear that. The door blasts open and there's Inko, All Might, and every other hero. Now, as Deku saw this, he actually was punched in the face, and he was actually looking in that direction. He would have saw them, but he would have gone in for a right hook against the Nomu, and as soon as he punched the Nomu in the face, the muscle in the back of his arm, like right back here in his arm, would have actually exploded. And what I mean by that is it would have popped and actually kind of broke the muscle tendons. And as soon as that does happen, Deku would scream and then blast more fire at it. And he would try and fight with his other arm, but the same thing would just happen again too. And he's actually having this happen in the area all around here. The muscle tendons back there, where that lightning bolt is around. The other one right there on the other side of his shoulder and his other arm. So that would happen, and Deku would essentially just be standing there, not able to move his arms, and he's just trying to fight the Nomu with just blasting with more and more fire. Now, after a minute, Deku's mom would come in and actually tell Deku to stop. Deku would stop, but he's huffing and he's puffing, and he's actually like he's trying to talk, but he can't because he essentially overdid his quirk, both of them. Now, Deku would be actually bleeding from his mouth quite a bit, and he would actually have probably had blood in his eyes. It's a very brutal battle. Just everyone could not believe what they were seeing. They knew Deku was strong, but they did not know he was willing to fight to this point. Now then, afterward, Inko would have told Deku to stop. She would have told him that she'll handle it from here. All Might would have arrived and actually told Deku that it's okay, the heroes are here, you'll be fine. Let's get you to recovery, girl. Now, as soon as All Might would have said this, Deku would have started nodding his head. But as soon as he would have brought his head up, he would have fallen backwards onto the ground, passing out. And Inko would immediately just take this thing out by engulfing it in hakai energy and ripping it to atoms and destroying those atoms. Because it would have adapted to Deku's, but Inko's is pure, so it's a different form of hakai energy. Now, after that, Deku. Actually, yeah, I'll just cut it there. Alright, I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope I can get this uploaded. Because, like I said, upload failure. Now, I was not lying about that. I did not expect it to happen. But hopefully you guys are going to be seeing this part. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video.